Hey, what is up guys, welcome back to the channel and welcome back to Gran Turismo 7. It's that time of the week once again when the weekly challenges go ahead and refresh. This is the first set of weekly challenges since update 1.47, which was obviously a bug fix update. So in terms of the content, it will be anything from 1.46 backwards. In terms of this week, it is typically the weakest week of the bunch. The maximum reward for this one is a 5-star roulette ticket reward, but we did manage to net ourselves a free car reward, so not too bad in the end. Let's have a look at what's in store for players this week from GT7 weekly challenges. It's May week 2. To begin us off, we have the American Sunday Cup 600 over at the Daytona Tri-Oval, a nice easy 3-lap sprint to get us started. Then we have another 3-lap sprint race with the Silvia Sisters over at Tokyo Expressway south clockwise. Then we have the return of the special event. I believe this is the third time we've seen this one. This is at Kyoto Driving Park Yamagiwa with the Tourist Trophy. The One Make special event, which is aimed at all generations of the Audi TT. Then we move on to one of the update 1.46 events. This is the latest VGT Trophy event over at Grand Valley Highway 1. Then for the final event of the week, we have the WTC 700 over at Autopolis International Racing Course. In terms of the rewards for this week, for completing one of the events, you're going to get a credit ticket worth 100,000 credits. For 3 events, it's 200,000 credit ticket, and in terms of all 5 events, it's a 5-star roulette ticket reward. However, there is the possibility of some very good rewards on that ticket, and probably we got one of the better ones with a free car reward at the end. Unfortunately though, that ticket is very RNG based, so rewards are going to vary. You may net something absolutely incredible, or you might end up with something absolutely terrible. Unfortunately, that is down to the Gran Turismo gods to decide. So let's have a look at event number 1 for the week. The American Sunday Cup 600 taking place on the Daytona Tri-Oval, a 3-lap sprint race. So this one is going to be over and done with inside around about 2 to 3 minutes tops. The PP limit you are seeing is not set in stone and is only a recommendation, so you can go ahead and go way over that to get it done even quicker. However, as per usual, I will try and keep my car within that limit of the event recommendation if it isn't set in stone. I'll also, as usual, be running these events on the hardest difficulty. So I went for the Ford Mustang, or the Shelby Mustang should I say, GT350 with the engine swap. I believe it is the Coyote engine swap that goes in this one. I've had it in the car for the longest time. Overall, this was a very sketchy car to use on this course. I didn't have a proper setup on or anything like that, but we did manage to take the lead very nice and early after saving it from that big slide early on. To be honest, in terms of this event, you shouldn't really need a guide. Again, it's just a big long oval 3-lap sprint, and you should get this one done nice and easy. Now, we didn't actually get the clean race reward. I can only assume it was because we went off at the beginning and over those lines, so we're only going to net ourselves 15,000 credits for the actual event reward. However, we are also going to be rewarded with 100,000 credits. Not too bad for just a couple of minutes work. Moving on to event number 2, this is one of my favorite races in the entire game, the Silvia Sisters. Unfortunately, again, a very short event. However, in terms of the whole sort of Tokyo Extreme Racer vibes, they're absolutely here for this one. This is over at Tokyo Expressway south counterclockwise. Again, open to all generations of Nissan Silvia. So onto the event itself, I did end up going for one of sort of the mid-generation Silvias we do have in-game, the pre-facelift K's type. In terms of the car itself, it really isn't built for power, it is mainly built for grip, so we are a bit of a disadvantage through these big long straights. To be totally honest, if you do want a recommendation, go for speed over handling here. However, through the corners we are going to be absolutely on it here, absolutely flat out with this car. Again, a really modest build, nothing too powerful, nothing too slow, just a few minor upgrades, and obviously that insane anti-lag to get all the pops and bangs and fire coming out the exhaust at night, which I think looks absolutely incredible, and is probably one of the reasons why I absolutely do love the Silvia Sisters. All of these cars seem to be running a ridiculous amount of anti-lag, as you can see, and I think it makes for a brilliant sight and sound. In terms of the event itself and the AI, there's not really too much in it in terms of, you know, troubling AI. However, there is a bit of a gap between different packs of cars. This is typically something we see with the earlier events introduced to Gran Turismo 7. Obviously the Silvia Sisters being sort of an early menu book that was entered post-launch, so it does still suffer from the issue of, you know, grouping of cars and such. So you'll kind of go from one group to the next, and then you'll have the front group, which is typically made up of maybe 1 to 3 cars maximum. As you can see here, it was only made up of a couple of cars. We have the S15 here out in the lead. We end up running wide and just clattering that barrier, avoiding contact with the other Silvia. However, it does cause the AI to run a little bit wide. However, we did get this one done relatively easy, and that is going to give us tick number 2 for the week. In terms of the payout, because we got that collision with that barrier, we lost the clean race bonus, but we do take away 45,000 credits and our daily marathon reward, which is a 3-star roulette ticket. Probably the weakest one that I can actually receive at this point. In terms of the next event, it's on to the special event for the week, which sees the return of the Tourist Trophy. Obviously open for all generations of the Audi TT. It's over at Kyoto Driving Park, Yamajiwa. So obviously I was going to pick my favourite generation of the Audi TT, which is the original. I believe we do have the facelift model in game. I don't think we actually have the original. So obviously we did have the original release in sort of the late 90s, and then I believe it got a bit of a facelift and a bit of a change, and that's the generation or version we actually have of the Gen 1 TT. So it's going to be the TT Coupe 3.2 Quattro from 2003 that we're going to be using. As you can see, all generations are available. There's no penalties or anything like that, and it is purely set in a sprint race format. So it's going to be 3 laps of this racing circuit. In terms of the AI themselves, there's a bit of a mixed bag. Some cars do seem to be standard, some seem to have a few upgrades, and again there is a bit of a packing issue. You'll find that a lot of the cars at the back of the grid are super slow, and some of the ones at the front are just a bit more challenging. So it's really weird to kind of, you know, get a gist of where the AIs actually are in terms of the cars that they're running. Again, very hit and miss between these Tourist Trophy special events. And again, in terms of the AI, there was only a few of them. I'm surprised they only fielded 12 vehicles for this one. Bit of a shame, because it's a rather quite open and, you know, spacious racing track. So I do believe with 16 to 20 opponents, this would have been a much better and more competitive race. Unfortunately, down to only 12 opponents for this one, so not really too much in terms of overtaking going on. We did get a very nice slide going into the corner here. As you can see, we're overheating the right hand tyres there. We do manage to catch it and keep it going, and we're going to charge back on through the field, getting the gap down to around about 2.5 seconds as we come across to finish the first lap. As you can see, we've got a couple of the Gen 1 Audis here, one without running the spoiler and one running basically next to nothing in terms of upgrades. So we're going to try and put it down the inside here, see if we can get the move done on Fraga, and we are going to get that one done. That then brings us up to the rear of the TTS Coupe from 2009, one of the latest additions to GT7, running in the slip, pull out, and there we go. That is a lead nice and easy as we cross a lap to go on to lap 2. So there we go, that was basically it in terms of the action for this event. Again, a massive shame that it was put down to only 12 cars. I definitely feel like a bigger grid would just made this just a much better event. There is no denying that. However, we do manage to bag a tick number 3 for the week, and we do actually get the clean race bonus for this one. So we're going to bag ourselves 82,000 credits and also 200,000 credits on top of that for our free event ticket reward. So let's have a look at event number 4. This is one of the latest additions to Gran Turismo 7, an update 1.46 event. I believe we've seen all 3 of them now. This is at Grand Valley Highway 1 for the Vision Gran Turismo Trophy. In terms of this event, it is basically a promotional campaign realistically for the Skoda VGT, as that is the car that you will typically see out in front, and that is actually the car I'm going to choose to run here. Again, it was what I ran here to begin with, so I'm pretty comfortable with this car and this layout at this point in time. In terms of the AI themselves, again, it's basically just a big rolling demo for all of the VGTs in game. You will find many spread out cars here. It's a very mixed grid. Some cars are very fast, don't get, you know, caught up by the slower VGTs, and then the other ones are just insanely quick and way out in front. Again, for some reason, it kind of goes back to the issue of the early events. For us, I guess a time they did get this fixed where cars would be closer together and not as spaced out, but here again you've got plenty of little packs going on, so you'll sort of have the back pack, the mid pack, and then up towards the front you've got a huge massive gap before you eventually then get to the leader, which you can see here we have an 11-second gap between myself and the other Skoda VGT in the race. So a very weird one. You'll probably catch them on around about lap 3 or lap 4, even on the hardest difficulty. Again, PP limit is set at 850, so you cannot go at that one. It is set at stone, and in terms of the AI themselves, they can be a little bit challenging just due to the whole spread out field, but we did manage to get this event done and dusted relatively easy in the end, pulling out a 5+ second gap, and that is going to net us tick number 4 for the week. In terms of the payout, we didn't actually get the clean race bonus. I believe we must have skimmed a car going past it or something like that. 80,000 credits for the payout and 15.9 miles added on to the driving marathon. And that is going to bring us to the final event of the week. This is a WTC 700 over at Autopolis International Racing Course. Obviously aimed at Group 4 racing cars. However, we are once again going to bring out another VGT, mainly the Bulgari VGT. This thing is ridiculous for its tyre life and its fuel consumption, and we are going to take full advantage of that. Running the softs, and we can probably expect rain in this event. It's one of the events where this track does feature dynamic weather, so it does have the chance to rain. It won't necessarily be set in stone. It's a little bit like Le Mans. I believe High Speed Ring has a Group 3 event or an 800 event there, where it is pretty much dynamic, so you have to be on the ball just in case you do get that rain coming in. In terms of this event, I didn't actually get any come in during the race. However, I do recommend just monitoring that weather radar. Once you've kind of settled into the groove of the race and you know where your fuel's at, you know where your tyre life's at, I do recommend just keep an eye on not only the clouds above you, but also the weather radar to see if anything is, coming in. Again, there is a chance that it might rain, there is a chance that it might not rain, so just be alert and on your guard for that one. So it is obviously a 10-lap race with fuel and tyres enabled, so I do recommend going for a car that is good on its tyre life and good on its fuel usage. It does seem to be turned up a notch here, so it is rather quite quick to shred tyres, even on the Bulgari VGT, which is renowned really for having incredible fuel consumption at the likes of Le Mans and very, very good tyre life even on the racing softs. We did find ourselves actually, taking a bit of a kick in when it came to the tyre wear. We did eventually take the lead for the first time at the end of laps. The start of lap 6, should I say. At the end of lap 6 though, you will see that a bunch of the AI will begin to pit. At this point, we're pretty much guaranteed the win. All we need to do is do our in-lap very, very carefully, and at the end of lap 7, we're going to box in and take another set of the racing softs. Now, because this car is good on fuel, we don't actually have to put too much in, so we've absolutely dried the tank. We've ran it in fuel mix 1, and we've gone as far as we can, basically perfectly matching really the weight of the softs and the fuel usage of the car itself. So on go the new set of softs. At this point, we're going to fill the car up just a little bit over the notch, just to ensure that we don't run out of fuel at the end, and we are good to go. It's a relatively short pit stop here at Autopolis, and it does seem that the AI will try and take advantage of that. A lot of the cars will not only pit at the end of lap 6, you'll also see them here at the end of lap 9 also pit as well for some unknown reason. I'm not sure if it's for tyre life or fuel. From what I can tell from the fuel, they would have had enough to do that extra lap, so I can only assume that they're starting to shred the tyres up at that point. However, we are going to get this event done nice and quickly, taking the checkered flag and giving us tick number 5 for the week. In terms of the payout for this one, we once again didn't get the clean race bonus. We had a little bit of an off on one of our laps, but we do take 130k and the final reward of the week, which is a 5-star roulette ticket. So let's open them up and see what we get this week. So our daily marathon gave us a 3-star reward. This is the lowest you can get once you hit level 50, I believe. And unfortunately, we're not going to get those nice spanking gold bars. We're going to end up with 10,000 credits. Very typical of the RNG in this game. So we're going to add that to the account, and then we're going to add in the credit ticket. So 100,000 credits. 200,000 credits, and then finally we're going to open up our final reward of the week, which is a 5-star roulette ticket reward. This one can yield very good results. As you can see, there's some gold bars on there, some free cars on there, and in terms of the lowest reward, it's going to be sort of like 30,000 credits. However, we are going to net ourselves a free car reward this week with the Ford Mustang Group 3. Perhaps one of the best looking Group 3 cars in the entire game. So do you know what? Rather quite happy with that one. So this week, it's typically the weakest week of the entire month, I guess, in terms of the way that the rewards work in this game. In terms of the events, it's a relatively short week this week, so you can get this one done nice and quickly. In all honesty, I think if you're going absolutely flat out and you're going over the PP ratings and such like that, you can probably get it done in around about 30 to 40 minutes tops. I just want to take time to give a massive thank you to all of my channel members. If you do want to become a channel member, it is massively appreciated. This just kind of helps me out between uploads, allows me to kind of take a day off from doing Gran Turismo and such, and then come back more refreshed and ready for the next few videos. Again, a massive thank you to all these guys who support the channel between these uploads, and a massive thank you to you guys today watching at home or wherever you may be. I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day. I hope you have a great weekend as well if you don't come back to the channel during then. Massive thank you. Take care, guys. Peace. Oh, and just a quick note, if you do end up hearing sort of like a thumping or a banging in the background, I believe my neighbours are having some work done at the minute, so apologies for that if my microphone does end up catching that and it does distract from the video. So yeah, apologies for that one. Anyway, see you later, guys.